Okay, here's an interesting little known fact. When our next presenter was just starting out, he wrote under the pen name Tarnished Tweezers. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rusty Pliers.
Okay. I got a telephone call from my Uncle Pinchy last night. Pinchy Pliers, my great-uncle. He's the Pliers family historian. He knows I'm a writer always on the lookout for a story, and that I'm not too proud to use members of my family. What have you got? I asked him when the niceties were over. Well, I've got a French war hero or a Texas horse thief. Which do you prefer? Give me the horse thief, I replied. Good choice, he said. Then my Uncle Pinchy told me the story about my Uncle JB, just as I'm telling it to you now. He was still young when his father went out one day to get cigarettes and never returned. Life was hard without a father, but growing up, JB proved to be a shrewd young man of business. With pride, it was said that he was the first of the family to accumulate a little wealth in America. It's also said with a little less pride that luckily he was able to do this before he was hung for being a horse thief. That was in 1927. One odd thing about it, if you'll pardon me for being a name dropper, is that a popular Texas cowboy was involved. A very famous radio star singing cowboy. It was his horse. Due to the scandalous nature, the court case was held behind closed doors, but the speedy verdict was unanimous. Guilty! They like their justice swift in Texas. People came from all around to see the hanging. They're like that in Texas, real friendly. The day was as festive as a church picnic when JB appeared at the door of the jailhouse, his hands tied behind his back. The crowd hushed expectantly. JB was led down the street and up the scaffold steps. The preacher said a prayer. A soft sack was put over JB's head. The noose was tightened against his neck. The hangman stepped back and nodded. The preacher stopped praying and nodded. At a sign from the sheriff, the famous singing cowboy, after posing for photographs, personally pulled the lever that opened the trap door that dropped good old JB down into the afterlife. He dropped and kicked, then went still. Hooray with the townspeople. They're friendly like that in Texas. The singing cowboy released the lever and smiled cruelly. When he thought nobody was looking, he spat with disgust upon the ground. It is said that the singing cowboy pulled that lever on JB not as punishment for horse thievery, but in cold-blooded revenge. Revenge for an affair of the heart. A man, a horse, and a man. That worst of romantic triangles. Thank you, I'm Rusty Pliers. Good night.
That was Rusty Pliers.